Welcome to the second episode of Luciana Talks. Today we have a very special guest with us. Very special, Jason Ring.
Hello,
I have
everybody.
also been working with Jason for many years now. We work in the same office here in Cork, and I've been watching Jason build multicultural teams and develop talent and help people progress in their career here at F5. I know he has a lot of knowledge to share. No pressure.
No pressure, right? This will be a short podcast.
Yeah, we won't. A lot of experience. He's very active on LinkedIn. He posts every day, and I admire a lot your consistency.
I
Yes.
think.
yes. I think like when I think about you, I think about consistency.
Yeah.
Like you're always there. You always show up, even if it's in person or at events or on LinkedIn. You are just there. Who is Jason Ring behind the job title?
I'm kind of the same person inside of work as outside of work, really. You mentioned kind of like consistency. I think I'm a very deliberate person. Like I deliberately wanted to be a manager. I deliberately wanted a house. I deliberately wanted kids. Like none of these things kind of happened by fluke. I wanted these things. So I think I'm in work, I'm that kind of person. Outside of work, I'm very passionate about my job. I'm very passionate about my team. I'm very passionate about the office. As an employee of a company as well, you're representing the company. So I think you have to be passionate about the company you work with because you bring the best version of yourself. And it's the same as I work. You know, I'm passionate about sports. I love doing stuff with my kids. I'm passionate about my family. You know, very chatty, very outgoing.
Yes.
Too chatty, probably sometimes. I'm consistent.
You are consistent. That's amazing to hear because I'm the same. Like everything that I do, I have to put passion in it. I need to be passionate about.
Yeah.
And you would think like everyone is a little bit like this, but that's not the case. Some people just let things happen. They don't have like strong passions.
We were only talking about this with my wife the other day. Like I wanted kids when I was like 16. I was an only child for 20 odd years, so I have a little sister. And I always wanted like a little sister to look after, not a little brother. A little sister. I was very specific with that. And yeah, so I think for me, I always wanted to have my own kids. I always wanted to have my own family. I don't know how normal it is for a 16-year-old person, you know, boy to be like, oh, I want a job, I want a mortgage, and I want all these boring things, you know. And then obviously having kids and, you know, work hard here to give back to your family. You know, we talked about family a lot. So I think that for me is where my passion comes in. It's kind of like passionate for myself because I'm just that kind of person. I don't think if you're not passionate about what you do or where you work, I don't think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we try to create in the office here, as you know, right? I think if some days you'll have a tough day, and even as managers, I always say to my team, like some days I won't have all the energy I need and I look to them to give me energy sometimes.
Yeah.
And obviously they need to look to me to get energy from me. And that all comes with having a good vibe in the office, kind of everybody knowing the purpose why they're here. And so I think we do a good job with that in general. I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because you put a lot of passion into work and time into work, and that's the only part that I see.
No.
Will you let me know and walk us through how do you manage to be also passionate and present at home?
A lot of coaching. So it's funny. Even when I've done some executive coaching, when I've had some mentors, sometimes, and even through work, you actually talk a lot about non-work related stuff. Like how do you, again, right? If you are present in work and you know, I at one stage in F5 I managed 22 people directly, right? So a lot of people need your time and attention, and how do you be present back home as well? I think sometimes you have to have other people help you recognize where the boundaries are, how to create boundaries, and how to separate work from personal life, but also the person you are in work affects the person you are at home, and the person you are at home affects the person you are in work. And that's why I say, like, I'm not two different people. I don't go home and turn into like some other chameleon or something. So I think for me, it's just want to go home and see my kids. I want to play with them. I love my wife. I love our family. I love going on holidays with them. Like I made a pact a few years back that I would go on as many holidays as we can throughout the year to just create memories. And obviously we had COVID, which was tough. So coming out of COVID, it was very deliberate again to, you know, enjoy life, work hard, but then go home and spend time with your loved ones as well. And also, like, I'm lucky that like both of my parents are still alive. Both of my wife's parents are still alive. So my kids are growing up with all of their grandparents around. I actually didn't grow up with some of my grandparents around, so on my father's side. So again, to have my kids with all of their grandparents, and we just went on holidays together recently. I think there's a lot of memories you create at home.
Yeah.
And you like that won't last forever as much as we'd all love it to. We know that like time moves on. So I think you have to capture the time. And yeah, it's not easy. Like sometimes you come back from work and it's a long day and you're tired, but that's not anybody at home's fault, right? They want to see you, they're happy to see you. So you have to kind of switch over and be like, yeah, okay, now I'm home. Yeah.
And I think like sometimes we can feel guilty that we don't give the amount of attention that they wanted, that they deserve, because we have to split between work and home. But I think the fact that they are watching us pursue our dreams, it's so important. Having a happy parent is so precious for a child.
With COVID, I was working from my home desk, unfortunately for my wife, all day, every day, on call after call and meeting after meeting. And obviously, they subconsciously just hear you working, they see what you're doing, they come over and they ask questions. They then, when you close your laptop and your day is done, they want to be I want to do the work. And it's kind of like they, by kind of default, they pick up on some of your traits. So again, even if you are working from home, you might think they're looking, but subconsciously they're picking up on everything that you do. So again, if you're a different person inside your work to outside, then that's actually for your kids as well. It can be quite confusing. If you're one person, like if I'm completely different to somebody else, it can be quite confusing for them as well.
Recently, I struggled to explain to my daughter what I do for a living. And actually, the teachers in school were asking, because it was Mother's Day, and they were like, "Oh, what is your mom's job?" And she didn't know how to answer.
My kids will be the exact same.
The exact same. Did you ever try?
Computers is what they think.
Computers. And I was like, I thought about this my entire life. Like one day, my daughter would ask me what I do for a living, and I want her to be proud. Like growing up, like a teenager, I would think about it. Like I need to choose a career, I need to do something. It's crazy to think that this was what's going on in my mind when I was choosing a career. But I want my daughter, and I knew it would be a daughter. I want her to feel proud of what I do, and then come to her friends in school and say, that's what my mom does. And then when I started working in tech, I was always thinking, I'm going to struggle to explain what I do.
Yeah, I fell into sales. Like I always, like I interview a lot of people and they're very early in career. As you know, we have interns, they're coming straight out of university. We have people, it's their first job in, say, cybersecurity, or might be their first sales job, it might be their first job in tech. And I suppose you're trying to explain to them what the path of the career could look like. But nobody wants to be in sales. Like you don't wake up and go, I want to be in sales. Everyone's like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a pilot, for me, I wanted to be a professional soccer player. Yeah. I'm not even a very good soccer player. So I think I fell into sales by pure luck, really. Like I was in college in the UK, I was doing osteopathic medicine, and I needed a job to pay for college because it was very expensive. So that's kind of how I fell into sales. But I chose to be a manager. A lot of the time you'll hear people kind of go, they fell into management, or they didn't really think they'd be a management. Like I always wanted to be a manager. And I think over the years, I've been lucky that I've worked in a lot of great companies. I've had a lot of, we'll say, like I've learned a lot. I've learned stuff that I wanted to replicate and take. And then I've learned stuff that I'm kind of like, that doesn't really fit my management style or my leadership style. And it's kind of stuff that I want to leave to the side. So I suppose for me, what I love doing, I love building teams. I love giving people an avenue to build a career. I think it's even with the interns that we have here, it's a very unique opportunity as a leader, but also it's a very critical stage for all of these people. Like I put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm like, right, they're entrusting, yes, they entrust the company, but they also entrust you with their career, like the start of their career. And that can be very daunting. Like if you take your own daughter or your own kids and you were like given their platform to build their career, like you'd put an awful lot of pressure on yourself. So I think for me, when I look at kind of my job, yeah, I work in sales, yeah, I work in business development, yes, I work in a cybersecurity company, yes, it's FI, but that's the kind of description around the job. My job really is to bring people in. We talked about a diverse nature. I love diversity. Like I love the fact that, like the joke I always have is that the one thing my team have in common is absolutely nothing. They have nothing in common, which is great, right? They come and you see them yourself for here, Luciana, right? It's great. So to have all these people coming in and they don't know each other, and then you see that they're going out in the evening and they're doing their own thing, or they're going playing paddle, or they're doing photography classes, and 2 years ago or a year beforehand they never met each other, they didn't know each other. Like I get great satisfaction in like they're building like a career, but friendships, they're building networks. Like right now today in this industry, everyone's stuck behind a phone. Everyone's going to use AI. So that kind of people connection piece, I think, is really vital. And that's the part that I love. Like that's why I come to the office. I want to be surrounded by people. I want to feed off their energy. I want to give them a good place to work. But I think my job is to get that next career cohort, and give them kind of like give them belief they can do it as well. I think there's a lot of reasons why they think they can't do it. And a lot of the time when I interview people, they always say that, most of the jobs tell them they need 10 years experience, or you need to have 5 years experience, but you need to start somewhere. So what company or what role is giving you the chance to gain that experience? And I think that's kind of what we do here as well, is that kind of it's the kind of like experimentation center where you're just coming in and it's that creative energy and people are learning and shadowing each other. And no, it's great. I don't think I answered your question about what my job is. I think I went on, I suppose, what I think it is, which is really centered around people development.
Yeah, 100%. And you said that your team, they would not have much in common because they come from different backgrounds, from different countries, speaking different languages most of the time. But when you are interviewing for the role, what are the things that you look for?
Well, you touched on one of them already. Passion. I think like there's plenty of places you can get jobs, right? And there's plenty, business development. So BDRs is a really tough job, and there's plenty of easier jobs as well. So I think if you're interviewing for this kind of role, it's kind of the why behind it. Like, what's your long-term ambition? What are you looking to achieve? What are you looking to build a career in sales? Are you looking to build a career in cybersecurity? Because I think that unlocks kind of the real purpose behind it. And if they feel like, yes, this is the role that this is what I want, this is my career, this is what I've deliberately chosen this, I think they'll really enjoy the experience because they'll learn a lot of skills. And that's the second part of it, which is highly coachable. We don't care if they don't have any background in cybersecurity. We don't care if they don't know everything about sales. You're not expected to, but you need to be able to be coached and want to be coached and want to learn and connect with other people. So if it's a CSM function, I love the fact that people on my team would just go down and strike up a conversation with somebody else. Hey, what do you do? What's your role here? And it's kind of organic and natural. So the passion side of it is massive. Coachability, being curious. We work in sales, right? If you're not asking questions and you're not thinking, other things, then I think probably really hard to become a fantastic salesperson, because sometimes you ask the first why and then you don't get the answer and you ask again and again, and then ultimately you uncover that real pain that the customer has, or the real purpose behind the project. So you have to ask questions. So there are some of the main things, but definitely being coachable, and also just, I suppose, wanting to be part of it. We have a great culture here, great place to work. We have great kind of camaraderie in the team. And I think that comes from each individual. That's not kind of, and it's real as well. It's not, I always say, it's a real thing. It's not like manifested. It's not fake. It's not a pretend portrayal. And then, everybody goes outside to work and they say, oh, this is terrible. Like, again, as you know, right, we get a lot of referrals, right? Most of the people I hire come from referrals from other people saying, hey, this is a great place to work. This is great. So again, I don't take referrals either as for granted. I think referrals speaks volume to how people on the team feel. I think if people feel like they wouldn't be treated well, or they wouldn't be mentored well or coached or supported, they're definitely not going to refer family members or friends.
But looking at you, coach the people you hire and then watch them grow and go to different teams. It's a entry level position, so they are always thinking of what's next. Like, what am I going after being a BDR? And I imagine that the challenge for you would be to put a lot of effort into training and preparing these people. And then after a certain time, you have to watch them go.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to...
I cry every time.
Have to do it all over again?
It's the most satisfying part of the job. I make no qualms. I don't keep it a secret. Even with the people when I interview them, like, if I'm doing my job well, you're not going to be on my team in a few years' time, because ultimately you'll obviously progress in the role. And okay, there's timing. Yes, the roles have to be a fit. It has to be a role that you want to go into. There has to, of course, just other factors other than you're doing a great job. But I think, as you've seen, right, even with the CSM function, right, we've had fantastic people moving from one side of the office to the other, right? And we we laugh and joke with the other managers because it's great to see that. But that's what it's all about. And then you get the next cohort in and you try to do the same thing again. And it is kind of like in my role, you have to accept that you're constantly building. Your team won't look the same this year to next year if everything is going the right way. So I always say we have a lot of attrition, but it's all positive attrition. It's people moving out of the team, getting promoted.
Yeah.
And like, that's why I also think for me, when I interview some people, it's great to say the reason why this role is open is because the person that's in the role today is getting promoted. And you kind of have that, like these people didn't go, it's real. Because I don't know about you, but I've interviewed places years ago and they tell you like, oh, this is, you come in 6 months, you do this and that, and then you go in and it's like, none of this is real. Like it's real here. Like, people do get promoted. We do promote from within. It's a real success story, I think. And I think you have to give them very early on the expectation and the platform that is what I want for them, and that's what they should want for themselves. That comes back to why they need to be, passionate, curious, coachable. Because if you don't care about your own, like, there's only so much your manager can do for you as well, or the company. You have to kind of want it for yourself. And I think if you're not coachable, then how are you going to progress and learn? Because you're going to have to learn everything, right? You have to learn about the industry, the terminology, about sales, about cybersecurity, the tools, the processes. So there's a lot to learn.
And now AI.
Right? And again, but the other side of it as well, which I think is really interesting, is when you interview people now, they're coming with a completely different skill set than some of the workforces actually have today. They're coming like, a lot of people have played with AI for a very long time now, and they're coming in and they're like, yeah, I've built this AI platform, or I've built these agents, and this is what I do at the weekend. And you're kind of thinking, whoa, like 3 years ago, this didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I think it's even interesting, like when we bring in this early in career talent, we're actually learning from them as well. And I think that's a really cool thing, that they're coming in and they're teaching people that maybe might be in the company 10, 15, 20 years, or in the industry, something new.
And speaking of AI, how do you see AI changing the BDR function in the last 2 years and in the next 2 years?
Probably not so much in the last 2 years. We probably haven't been as exposed to it. I think everybody was trying to figure out what does it mean and what does it mean for us. I think there's only upsides, really. Like, there's a lot of, I suppose, workflows or tasks that absolutely we can use with AI. The fact that we can create new agents and that they can do really cool things for us, I think will help. And also, like, all of our customers are using it. Like, all of the companies, everybody's using AI. Like, maybe apart from maybe my mother's not using AI yet, but maybe she'll figure out one day. My mother is not using AI yet. But I think for us, or for just in general, not even in this team, but just broadly across the industry, I think it's going to save people a lot of time on tasks that weren't maybe generating the impact, but they're actually going to get that time back to spend their time in places where it's more impactful. And I think that's kind of like the net positive, is you get a lot more productivity out of it. You get a lot more positive impact out of it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I suppose if you come to work and you can spend more time doing the stuff that actually makes an impact in your role, then you should enjoy it more as well. All right? Because nobody wants to do, a million admin tasks or manual admin tasks for that sake.
One thing that I noticed is that you always celebrate your team publicly. Why do you think it's so important to have this?
Entry level, any job where you're entry level and you're coming in, you're learning, is quite daunting. You can be very nervous about it, right? You come into a new company, new industry, you have to learn everything from new. You have to build new networks, new friends. And so in a lot of cases, with this team, for example, they moved their entire life here. And then they have to go and do the job, right? And the job is tough, right? It's dealing with rejection an awful lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's being told no, more times than you hear yes. So when you find, and also, the skills that we're trying to develop in that team are new skills. So it's talking about AI, right? It's talking to customers about AI security or models, right? And if you think of someone coming into the industry that has never worked in sales and cybersecurity, that's getting on the phone with someone to talk about AI models a couple of weeks into their job, that's pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
So then I suppose when you get those successes, it's really important to call it out, because in the background, I always say, like, with business development, on the face of it, people only hear the positive outcomes. They only see like, oh, this happened. But in the background, there might have been 50 no's to get to that one yes, or that constant rejection. Or I was chasing that person for 6 months. So we have to take time to recognize like hard work, to recognize good quality work as well, right? You're not just doing work that's meaningless, it's impactful. Like what they do helps the company, helps themselves, they build their skill set, and also make sure they all celebrate each other. As I always say, like again, that's the culture that you kind of create, right? It's not just one person's great and they celebrate themselves and everybody else is left in the background. I think you kind of collectively need to celebrate each other. And that works really well in tough times then when someone's going to have a tough week or a tough month or a tough day and other people are picking them up and it's vice versa. So I think it like recognition from the manager is kind of deliberate, but I think within the team you kind of hope it's kind of organic where they start celebrating things, even small things, right? Like
Yeah.
we go for like lunches and that kind of thing. They're not big things, but it's just making sure they feel valued and recognized for the work they do because it is hard.